Bloodshot is directed by a new director named David S.F. Wilson and stars Vin Diesel, Guy Pearce, and Toby Kebbell, and Elza Gonzalez, you may remember from Baby Driver. And this movie is based on a series of comic books of the same name called Bloodshot, and by the Valiant Comics. And it features Vin Diesel as a former soldier or a former Marine who was killed in action and be brought back to life with superpowers by an organization that wants to use him as like the perfect weapon and everything. And that's pretty much the bare basics, because that's pretty much how the trailers believe. And also, if you've seen the trailers, it deals with his own mission of his own, with having to get revenge on the people that were involved with his murder of his wife and himself.
Yep.
And so that's pretty much the bare basics of what the trailers they make you believe.
Yeah.
Now, here's a little backstory. Now, I'm not too familiar with the comic books, but this was apparently based on a series of comic books that I haven't really much heard about. I haven't really this was based on a comic book to begin with.
Well, what I've heard from other people is, the ones who are diehard comic book fans said that they're not really big. Like, a lot of people, like, it might have a fan base. Everything has a fan base.
Yeah.
But some question, like, how did this get so big to become a movie?
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't bash it for, like, becoming a movie if it had potential.
Well,
and it would look like it had potential.
It did, because from the trailers, this was a project that I could see what they were going for. It's not only to try to get, Vin Diesel trying to do something to kind of away from the Fast and Furious movies, kind of like what he did with, I remember a few years ago, with Riddick and Last Witch Hunter a few years ago.
Yeah.
So and also the concept of a guy that's basically like a super soldier that goes by nanotechnology with having to regenerate. That's what really got me intrigued.
It's basically like Universal Soldier meets
Upgrade.
Upgrade with a splice of Matrix.
Yeah.
Type feel to it is what it was going for.
Or kind
of really, basically, what I've heard criticism from the comics is what takes people out of Bloodshot is the fact that the entire universe is pretty much stealing from everyone. It's
unoriginal.
Yeah, it's really unoriginal.
Yeah, but what got me from the trailers the most was it seemed like it was kind of going for that fun type of, kind of. Well, at first I thought it was just going to be like this whole kind of Groundhog-esque kind of thing from the trailers, because it seemed like he was reliving the events like every single time, because he's put in this like kind of simulation that makes him relive the same events. So I thought that maybe they were going to do like a whole Groundhog Day kind of feel of it.
Well, there's a purpose. There's a purpose why they do it. I'm not going to spoil it. I mean, it's interesting on paper.
Yeah.
It's the matter of execution in the film, which we'll get into. But it had a good concept, and when I saw the trailers of it, I will say that it looked like it was going to be like this big bloodbath.
Yeah, with the name Bloodshot.
And it gonna be like on entertaining level, it looked like it was gonna be fun.
Yeah, and
upon seeing this film, and oh my god, how they fucked this one up bad. Mm-hmm. This movie was probably one of the worst comic book films I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, this was on par with as much as Hellboy last year was, as far as like movies that are based on comic books.
Let me say one thing before I did see this movie. When I found out that this was attached by the guys who brought us Truth or Dare and Fantasy Island,
same writer,
I knew this fucking movie had to have been doomed.
Yeah, because the same writer in this, Jeff Wadlow or something like that, the same writer did this, also did Truth or Dare, and also did fucking movie. We just recently watched Fantasy Island, and you could tell from watching this film, there was a lot of fucking convoluted problems with the writing.
I mean, come on now. You strike one, you struck two, and now you struck out.
And top of that, the irony is that it was written by one of the guys who wrote Arrival. It was co-written by another guy who had really success with writing Arrival from a few years ago.
I just don't get, with the guy being attached to those other two shit movies, it's like, why would you pick somebody out of all people in Hollywood, a guy whose track record is fucking dog shit? I mean, the guy needs to obviously go back to writing school, film school or something.
Yeah. Because
structurally, it's fucking, this movie's
a fucking mess.
Oh my God.
Let's just say, it's going to be hard to really even talk about this plot, really, because it is all over the fucking place. It's basically taking a glob of scenes, stitched together, they come and go, and most scenes that are in the movie, they fucking are either unexplained, or they try to do certain things with exposition dialogue, but that make no sense.
So get into our quick, because our pros are going to be very short. For me, I'm going to start out with the visual scene where you see in the trailers where he gets his face blown off.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like it's all red and it looks snowy, but it's actually flour from a truck that crashed.
Yeah.
Just the way that scene looked was really badass. The final battle scene was not too bad. It looked pretty cool. And then the scene where he pretty much rages out and I guess becomes Bloodshot is what they indicate with his eyes turning red and everything. The visual effects with the red, the purple, and all that looked really good.
Yeah.
Other than that, I have no more.
Well,
there.
Yeah, I agree. The whole way of how that visual part looked cool, and there were a couple of moments like some of that scene, the way it was shot, the camera work was good, and there is a sequence later on where it's in like a shaft or whatever, like an elevator shaft. The way it's kind of going, the way the camera work that's used for it is very good.
Yeah.
In that scene.
Yeah, that camera work on that.
And there are the story of the execution. I could see what they were wanting to do with it, but it's just
it's like we talk about with other like Blumhouse films, like Blumhouse films.
Yeah.
And the guys who were attached to this are usually work for Blumhouse, and the potential that they keep bringing up in these movies, and they just again another movie had like great concepts that fails miserably.
Yeah.
Oh, and another pro I will give is, shockingly enough, nobody was good in this film but the girl.
The Elcia Gonzalez.
She's the only one that's trying in this movie.
Yeah, she was great. She was actually really good. And I liked her in some other movies too, like Baby Driver and all them. I thought was one of the main things that one of the main actresses that I liked. And there are some aspects I didn't mind Vin Diesel in as far as his performance. When the scenes that involve with him like getting really intense, it shows that he was at least trying in those scenes.
Yeah.
But it's a pro con for me because it really goes to factor in how he's playing the
basically that's the only 10% of the movie.
Yeah,
but only good.
But I thought the other girl, she was good, and I also will admit that there's things that they could have like really showed more with had they would have gone for R rating.
Yeah.
Like that whole
this
scene
movie
alone,
should not been as soft as it was,
because they have certain shootouts and things like that could work if it was done better in an R-rated film.
Yeah.
But beyond that, other than some of the camera work and certain action scenes, the movie is just complete fucking disaster.
So let me start with my con real quick. Getting into my cons. Holy shit, the structure in this film was so fucking bad. It was on par with fucking Fantasy Island. Like, I was extremely lost, and it has a lot to do with, instead of structuring the movie together, it seemed like each scene that popped in, there was a missing 5 to 15 minute scene before it. And then another scene would come in, and I felt like there was another 5 minutes missing. We're going from, okay, this scene where this guy is like, you think he's going to have a team working with them.
Yeah.
And then in the next scene, he's like, Vin Diesel's like tied to this thing, and the guy's talking shit to him. And it's literally from that scene to that scene, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, there's a lot of things they bring up that they're trying to build up on, but it doesn't go anywhere. There's no build up. It fucking just comes in out of nowhere with certain elements that they bring, like you were saying with him, and then also the whole. And this is gonna get into some spoilers here later on. The whole thing about him actually getting into this whole nanotechnology, it's unexplored as to why they picked him to begin with, or why.
Yeah, it's just one of those convenient, oh, you're the badass. That's about it.
Yeah.
You're a badass.
And
I mean, there's probably like 10,000 badass soldiers.
It's unexplained, too, like where this whole organization comes from and like how they, like it. We don't even have any type of time period how far we are in this story. Because when it comes in, he gets killed in action and then we're immediately jumping like sometime later. And
when he's at the beginning, and they rush the beginning, him, his wife, boom, boom, boom. Then him, first it's him in the war, and then it just like gets through that like under a minute. It's pretty much almost like the credits, and then he goes and he gets with his wife and settles down and instantly killed. And then they jump I don't know, because I'm going to tell you right now, where he's fighting looks more like he was in the Afghan-Iraq war. And then whenever he wakes up and he's part of this new technology thing, they're so far in the future, these buildings look like something out of a freaking Blade Runner.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
How did we go from there to this?
Have you been dead like 10, 20, 30, 5, 6, 7, whatever? What the fuck? So they don't... It's just become a futuristic movie all of a sudden. And it's just like, they introduce us to people who have no backstory.
Yeah, we just suddenly get introduced to this team that... Granted, the technology that they use for is similar in elements of what you could do if, like, Universal Soldier. And hell, in a way, it strangely kind of takes similar elements to the remake of RoboCop with the whole technology on soldiers and stuff, where they're having to get replaced with, like, metal arms and stuff, or like metal legs, things like that. And it just, they don't really, well, and here's the problem with this, too, is that when they set this up, the whole plot about him pretty much getting his revenge, this is now spoiler, that's solved within the first fucking 30 minutes. Like, after the first 30 minutes, we don't have a main fucking villain.
Give us a big, we follow this, oh my god, and this is another con. I want to stay in order so I don't get all over the place in the review. But we get this stupid-ass guy who, in most movies, when the guy does the traditional kill the wife, I gotta get my revenge, that's usually the villain throughout the whole film. They thought they were trying to be smart and clever, but it becomes pointless instead because that guy is offed fucking quick. Not to mention the performance by that guy was terrible.
Yeah.
Fucking horrible. I'm going to get into a con. I'm going to wait on the next con to talk about that because I don't want to be all over the place.
Right.
But anyways, they get rid of him, and then we go for Guy Pearce, who's played pretty much fucking villains all over the time.
Yeah.
Now, the guy is a good villain on pretty much a lot of films.
Yeah.
Lawless, he was fucking he was intimidating in that film.
Yeah, his performance I liked in Iron Man 3, but his character, the way it was written in that, had lost a lot of potential.
Yeah.
But he was still good for that role, I think.
In this film, he's not even intimidating at all. He's too nice. In fact, the climax, it's like you could still work with the guy. And it's like, where's the fucking intimidating villain in this film?
Yeah.
Because you had a pussy dude that danced all the time, and you have a fucking dude that says, I'll give you the 15th chance, 16 chances, come join me. We'll be nice, I'll take care of you and your family. And have a family, and you can do whatever. It's like, oh my god, there's no villain in this film. Other than those two sidekick dumbasses that were just generic as fuck.
Yeah.
But now, get into the thing I want to talk about is tone. This film is, for some reason, without marketing, without the whole film being like this, decides to add sporadic little splotches of satire fun that doesn't go with the film. Like, you can make a satire tone, fun film like this.
Or like,
if you market it like that and if it flows with the movie. The only thing is, it's here, here, and then here. There's this guy who plays this funky-ass music and starts doing that, and then I was like, what the fuck? In a serious scene at that.
Yeah.
And this movie goes from serious from here on out. Other than another freaking tone where they have this joke about 6-inch dicks. And this guy keeps talking about his dick being small or something. And then he wants the technology to make his dick bigger.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to laugh at that? Is that comedy?
It was so forced. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And you can tell this is from the same fucking writer because in Fantasy Island,
he did the same
tone. Fucking serious scenes that the movie couldn't decide if it was a horror movie or a fucking comedy or what. This movie's tone can't decide if it's an action movie, a serious like espionage thriller or something, or like a science fiction movie, or a fucking comedy. It can't make up its mind.
It can't.
It's all over the place. And even when it does try to give us like fun quips or everything, it fucking fails because the comedy is so fucking like annoying. Especially that one guy that can introduce later, this geeky type guy that they come across that's working for that used to be a former rogue for Guy Pearce's character. That dude annoyed the piss out of me too.
Oh, the black dude that was trying to be clever by look, I'm not talking to anybody. I need some friends.
And he was always chewing all the fucking time too.
And it was not just like something that you could laugh at or 50% of us could laugh at. It was literally stuff that had nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah.
It becomes like this kind of like hangover-ish type movie. I'm like,
it's out of place. But
very out of place. So here's another thing I got to complain on. While he had some pros on this, I'm a big fan of Vin Diesel, and I love him as an actor. I would love nothing more to see him branch out. Unfortunately, he was an issue in this film. I did not like him. I think his performance was trash. I can't believe I'm saying that about Vin Diesel. And the problem has to be is I have a feeling he was shooting this in Fast 9 at the same time. He was jumping from set to set because he literally looks like Dom in this movie.
Yeah, there's actually...
He talks like Dom in this movie.
Yeah, there's actually points...
What the hell?
More than once, he's wearing a tank top. That clearly shows he's Dom.
And then when he talks to the girl characters and stuff, he's very Dom-ish.
Yeah, he's got that very compassionate, like...
And he's so not trying hard. I'm wondering... It's... Like, this is a movie that I wouldn't think he would predict would suck. Because obviously the script looks cool. The movie and trailers look like, oh my god, this looks badass.
Yeah.
So it's not something that he saw and go, oh. It's just literally
It's almost like...
I've seen actors like Ryan Reynolds, for example, who's played in some shit movies. Green Lantern, right?
Yeah.
If you're a good actor, you can make shit and be the likable part of the shit.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel just was not on that level.
It was one of those things, like, because, well, it also doesn't help that his filmography, depending on what he's done like other branched movies out, but most of the time he's always gonna have that persona as playing Dom as in
reason why is because they
Furious.
keep making the fucking movies and it keeps coming.
So he's bound to be typecast, and it seems like he doesn't necessarily feel like he's changing much of his personality.
But the thing is in Last Witch Hunter and some other films he's done,
Riddick.
He was able to change his persona on acting. He looked different. He was not Dom. This one, it looked like he literally wore the clothes from the set, Fast 9, and walked to this.
Yeah,
and it was like, okay, show me something where you're a different person.
Yeah, now
not that Vin Diesel.
There are there's a certain idea I could see them kind of do if, say, like, if you put him in as a villain, like actually as a villain where he's like in like a slasher film or something. There are moments where he's like kind of silent and he's walking around and he actually does seem intimidating. Like toward the end when he's actually like going full on Bloodshot, he actually seems like he could fit in a slasher movie. The way he's kind of moving, like the way his presence is, you know.
Another problem I had in this film. It's called Bloodshot. Why was there not one fucking scene of blood? This movie was so watered down on its fucking violence. I'm seeing people getting blown away, getting hit through the chest. But we had that one guy who had to tell us in exposition that the dude's chest got caved in. Because it couldn't show it. What the fuck? You can't show us a bit of fucking violence. Don't give me that shit. Doesn't need to be violent to be good. This film was really heavy promoting of the hero as being, it's a violent universe.
It is.
Why is it so fucking watered down?
Because you can tell the way it was shot too, a lot of the editing. Well, first of all, this factors in with the way it's shot, it cuts away. And two, especially in the beginning, a lot of the action parts, they are shaky to the point where you can't fucking pay attention.
Yeah, there's a lot of scenes where they get in the fist fight parts, and you're just like,
oh man,
hold the fuck up or I'm gonna have a seizure. I can't see anything. And
on top of that, the way that the movie goes,
the abandonment of the girlfriend storyline.
Okay, look, I'm not making this up. Like, this movie literally spends most of that point him looking for trying to, well, at first they abandoned, after he solves the whole fucking revenge thing, it becomes a different movie altogether, where it didn't even feel like it knows what it was doing after that.
Because the whole wife scene, which you pretty much seen in the trailers, where you think it's actually going to be the storyline, it's cut halfway through the movie where...
It's actually the beginning.
Well, alright, I'm going to say this right now, because the movie is bad. If you don't want to hear this twist real quick, turn off right now. Spoiler alert. Right now, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. The wife moves on with a new man.
Yep.
And the story's over with.
Yeah.
For her. So, there's still another movie of him
just adjusting to his powers and just going after Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce now. Which, again, was a pussy-ass villain.
Yeah. On top of that, it seemed like the movie was kind of doing what Upgrade did with the whole type of revenge kind of thing. Poorly fucking done, by the way.
Upgrade was awesome.
Yeah. But literally, after that, it becomes so, like, questionable. Like, why are they still pursuing, like, this organization?
I'm sorry I had to make that joke at the end. Because it's like... Vin Diesel is so dommed out that I literally thought the way, because it was going in the sunset in the car, in the vehicle, he was going to say that family line.
Like, we got family this time.
And I thought he was going to make that mistake and be like, oh shit, wrong movie. At least I would have got a laugh out of that. But with that being said, I don't want to keep ranting. This movie, I don't recommend it. It's fucking terrible, and I was blown away how they could fuck this up.
Yeah.
So with that being said, man... I'm going to be just a slight edge here and not say that it's flatline. I'm going to go with a very, 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 very low disaster grade in the Film Phreeks meter.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like I said, I told myself, like, this movie is so generic, so fucking empty with its action, with even all the action that is competent, it's just so uninteresting to the point of the story. Couldn't decide what it was going for, and it had a lot of shit that made no sense, and... there was things that were so unexplored to the point that it was just such a nothing movie for me. Like, it was all rushed and no delivery with it.
I forgot to also mention I was so bored I wanted to leave.
Yeah, it was one of those type of movies too.
Yeah.
On top of that, so with that being said, I'm giving the movie a low disaster grade on the Film Phreeks meter.
Yeah.
Now, this movie, it actually had the nerve to say that it was going to be a first time in a cinematic universe. In one of its movies, it was trying to set itself up as a new cinematic universe, but it's a pretty bad start to go with that, so I don't recommend it. So for those of you who have also seen Bloodshot, let us know in the comments below what you thought about it, and we'll be seeing you in our next review. We'll see you later.